You're looking at a piece of Minnesota history signed into law. After more than a decade of efforts by local DFL lawmakers to approve some sort of gun control measures, it finally happened on Friday with the governor's signature. The state house this past week approved the bill, which requires background checks on private gun sales. It also includes a so-called red flag law that allows family members and others to petition a court to have guns removed from people deemed a danger to themselves or others. New Hope lawmaker Cedric Frazier spoke about the bill on the House floor.
In a few days, it'll be the 3-year anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. I think Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota has been put on a trajectory to do some really good things to model for the world how we can come out of that. This bill does that by striking a balance on public safety.
Representative Kristen Robbins of Maple Grove called the negotiations leading up to the final bill, quote, offensive, because she says Republicans were not allowed to give any input. Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley wants to recruit more women officers and implement a drone program. Bruley says 13% of Brooklyn Park police officers are women. He wants to up that number to 30% by the year 2030. The chief also said a drone program is in the works. He says drones can help police find suspects and respond to disasters. Well, this is National Police Week, and to get some perspective on a couple of headline issues, our Rusty Ray spoke to Maple Grove Police Chief Eric Werner in this week's Newsmakers segment.
The past few years especially, any conversation about policing and law enforcement in the community has been rather politically charged. But you were just telling me that here in Maple Grove, you're feeling a lot of love from the community, a lot of support from the community. How is that working out for you?
Well, in Maple Grove, I think we're very fortunate. We have tremendous support from our residents, from our elected officials, city administrator, and also with that support comes responsibility. So we're well supported, our standards are high, and because of that, I think that's where the partnership comes in.
What are you doing, though? Is there anything intentional? Are there programs or are there efforts that are specifically made in order to keep that relationship strong and to keep that community engagement strong?
Yes, I think it's our outreach. One of the most visible ones here in Maple Grove is our National Night Out. But I think we go deeper on a day-to-day basis. First, it starts off with hiring quality people. We focus on the character of individuals that will go out and serve and understand the dignity of the people they serve. And through those day in and day out interactions along with all our programs, that's where we make those connections and relationships.
Where are we with recruitment? I understand that it's been tough in many industries across the spectrum of jobs out there for people who are looking for jobs or people coming out of college, but especially in law enforcement. I understand it's been very tough to attract candidates who are qualified and who are interested in doing this job. Where are we in terms of recruiting for any full-time officer positions that you have? Has it been tough for you?
And in the light of everything that's gone on in the last several years, it has been pretty tough. Nobody can deny that there has been a negative narrative against the profession in general, and any agency across the country is going to feel that, and we have in Maple Grove. We used to have hundreds of applicants for a few positions. Recently we're hiring 4 individuals and we had 16 applicants. Fortunately, we believe we may be able to fill them with what we received, but we don't have the quality of candidates or the number of candidates that we had in the past.
And sometimes you're able to kind of develop somebody through these part-time and these community service officer positions, right? You've been able to do that recently and been able to kind of bring people up and kind of get some of those candidates kind of schooled in the community and kind of how the department works, and that maybe sets them up for a little bit of success?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you take a look at the other programs we have, so it starts off with the Explorer program where we introduce the profession to the youth. And then they get a sense of what they want within this profession if it is for them. Then we hope they advance to a community service officer position, so while they're going to college, then we can introduce them to the department, we can start that professional relationship and that development. Most recently we hired 3 individuals as career transition, so now we're seeing the program evolve and we're attracting people outside of the profession that have a lot of life experience and maturity.
The City of Plymouth's Parks and Rec Department has a high-tech way to keep fields looking good. It can thank a relatively new helper named Roxanne.
This is a full-size soccer field here.
In the City of Plymouth, sports are abundant. Crews maintain nearly 100 playfields throughout the city, many of which require paint.
Football and soccer are pretty line intensive. They use a lot more paint and to do it the old-fashioned way would be incredibly time-consuming.
Jason Goring is Plymouth's turf and horticulture manager, and it's his job to get the city's fields painted to the exact specifications of the teams using them.
Our goal is ultimately to paint once a week, and it really depends on the growing season of the turf.
It's a job that's a lot easier now that they have Roxanne on board. Roxanne is the city's relatively new field painting robot. Plymouth's Parks and Recreation Department has been using Roxanne for the last several years to do a job that once required 3 people, a lot of rope, and some complicated math equations.
Pre-Roxanne, it is a lot of effort to lay out, let's say, a soccer field with ropes and painting it with a 3-wheeled machine.
Since paying tens of thousands of dollars to acquire Roxanne, a project that once took 3 hours to complete only takes about 30 minutes. Not only is Roxanne faster and more efficient, it's able to do areas like this corner kick spot with pinpoint precision. The layout of every field is programmed into a tablet. All they have to do is fill it with paint and then tell Roxanne where they are.
Once you are on a soccer field, you would pull up the field that you're going to paint and hit the execute button, and Roxanne will go and paint that automatically.
And while Roxanne does her thing, it frees up park staff members to do other important tasks.
I think it's just a smarter, more efficient way to get work done.
We've had some outstanding track and field athletes in the northwest suburbs in recent seasons. One of the best hasn't had a long history in the sport, though. Jay Wilcox profiles a Maple Grove sprinting standout in this week's CCX Sports Spotlight.
After a breakout season last spring, Maple Grove senior sprinter Jordyn Borsch is picking up where she left off. Borsch has excelled this season, including a trifecta at the Hamlin Elite Meet, where she won the 100, 200, and 400 meter races.
Yeah, the season's gone well so far. I mean, the Elite Meet was a lot of fun. I ran good times there, and I think that was a good mark for me to see where I was so far in the season, and I was happy with my times, and I hope that sections at state I'll continue to improve.
One of those athletes that just comes around once in a lifetime, right? Literally, when you look at her times, like it's a once in a lifetime kid. As coaches, we sit back and enjoy those moments and watching her sprint as much as anybody else in the stadium, and it's fun to watch in a stadium when everything goes silent and quiet because they know she's about to run.
As a junior last season, Borsch, who wasn't one of the more well-known sprinters coming into the season, won the 100 and 400 at the state class 3A meet and placed third in the 200.
Yeah, I was so excited. I mean, I really, really, really wanted to win the 400, and I did that, and then I also won the 100, which I wasn't expecting to do that, so that was a nice compliment.
She was a dark, nobody talked about her, there wasn't any conversation because last year's senior class was so good. You know, if you look at that final of the 100 last year at state, they're all running in college, they're all doing college athletics right now. That was an incredible class last year of senior sprinters, and so it made sense that Jordyn, nobody was talking about her, but she knew it was possible.
Part of what makes Jordyn's success so impressive, she's somewhat of a beginner in the sport. She didn't come out for track until 10th grade.
Yeah, I played soccer and hockey, and I was one of the quickest people, so I knew that I had a gift, and I guess it took me some years to find my way to the track, but I'm glad I did. Well, I'd say I've always been a quick person, but the past couple of years I knew that I wanted to be really good and work hard, so I think training, a combination of training and just the way I am, has helped me.
The 3 races she is focusing on, the 100, 200, and 400, have their differences.
Yeah, I mean, the 100, a lot of it for me is just working on my starts. That's probably my weakest point. My top end speed is what helps me finish the 100. And then the 200, it's a little bit longer, so I have more time to make up for my poor starts. And then the 400, I know I have the speed and the endurance, so I feel like it's really the perfect distance for me.
Earlier this month, Borsch took part in the Athena Awards ceremony. She was chosen as Maple Grove's Athena winner as top senior female athlete at the school.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I liked being around so many young women who were highly accomplished and smart and athletic, and it was really inspiring to see other people like myself and see what they're going to do and what they already have done.
With a bright future ahead of her, Jordyn's headed to South Bend, Indiana next year to run track for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Notre Dame. I mean, they're a great school academically. I'll be studying finance. They have a really good track team, and when I was on my visit, I just really liked the team.
But first things first, Jordyn Borsch will take aim at trying to sweep the 100, 200, and 400 meters at the state meet.
That's not easy to do. Very few people have ever done that because it takes the speed and the endurance and all the above, and it's a hard turnaround to do prelims and finals and in all those races and go 1, 2, 3 in a June hot day. It's really hard to do that. She's capable of it.
For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm Jay Wilcox.
Borsch and her Crimson teammates will compete at the Northwest Suburban Conference meet Tuesday and Thursday at Elk River High School. For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm John Jacobson.